So I guess I like neon lights. So I thought I'd post this for everyone to may spur some thoughts, especially as it relates to combining older technology with latest and greatest technology. So I like to build clocks. Here's an example of a repurposed HP preset counter that is Nixie tube based, and this is a Panaplex clock that I built some time ago. It's got a whole bunch of transistors, and then it's got an Arduino on the back, and my trusty little TI Neon Panaplex calculator. But where I'm going with this is that I thought I would use Chat GPT to help me build one of these pre-Nixie tube frequency counters. And if you'll notice, before they came up with Nixie tubes, they had individual discrete neon bulbs that would indicate the frequency, and you would just read that directly across from left to right. So what I did is I embarked on a project to get ChatGPT to help me design this. So I knew what I wanted to make, but I wanted to see if ChatGPT could help me make it. So over the course of the last couple of weeks, ChatGPT and I have been working very closely, and it's quite interesting to interact with it on a repeated basis to refine your designs or refine its design. So what we both came up with working together was the start of one of those frequency counters. So the one thing that, and I think I'm going to make this into a couple of part series because it's just too long if I try to do it all in one. And this, I got a ways to go on this, but this is over the course of the last couple of weeks. Everything you see here is pretty much from GPT. Amazingly, I just kept asking the questions, we kept refining the questions, and we ended up with this. So I haven't drawn the schematic yet. I've just been piecing it together as ChatGPT and I work together. But the one thing that really amazed me, and I was so impressed with it, was I'm going to introduce a sort of a new twist to an old concept. In other words, the time base, the gate control logic for latch, reset, and count are all PIC driven. I'm using a microprocessor-based crystal from Dallas Semiconductor, and this is a TTL clock that I built sometime back. And if you'll see that box right there, it's a DS32KHZ, which is a microprocessor temperature controlled crystal oscillator that has an accuracy of, I think it's seconds per year. So in this case, I'm just using the 1 Hertz time base on it because I don't have the parts yet to build the time base for this unit. So the other thing that I wanted to point out was ChatGPT is entirely responsible for the PIC code, the microchip PIC code inside this PIC 16F628A microcontroller. And what's interesting was through a little bit of work with ChatGPT, we came up with this, or it came up with this. So up here is the input waveform that is a 4-volt peak-to-peak sine wave. So it converts it through a Schmidt trigger, a 74HC14, converts it into a square wave. Okay. Then below this, the PIC is generating this 1 Hertz full-length count signal. And then what's really cool is we've got a 10 millisecond pulse for latching the 7447. I don't have those in here yet. I've got some 7445. That's a 7490 decade counter, TTL. This is a 74, the ubiquitous, hard to get ceramic 74141s. I got those a long time ago, and I'm glad I kept them. I'm going to put a 7475 quad latch here to store the count. But what's really cool, and I'm so impressed with it, is that ChatGPT did all the software development for this to give me, and here's the 628A, to give me a count pulse, a latch pulse, and a reset pulse to reset the counters. And this thing works beautifully. And the code that ChatGPT created was just spot on. I mean, I had to make no changes to it. And I think I learned quite a bit about ChatGPT in this process. And I think in the next video I'll talk about it. But the one thing that I was really enjoyed doing was asking it how I helped it update its AI model. And it was interesting. The primary response I got back was that it really did not have much knowledge, or if any knowledge, on how to interface newer technology, namely the PIC 16F here, with old 50-year-old TTL logic. Because there's some design considerations you have to make with different logic families, but ChatGPT got it right. I mean, it took some iterations, and we found out, on the PIC that some of the special purpose pins on the PIC, for whatever reason, on the 628A didn't work as expected. But in the end, we just moved it to some different pins. So I learned some things, and I taught it some things, but I really enjoyed asking it, what am I doing for your model? Are you going to make these things available to other people who may have similar questions? But I would say if you haven't tried ChatGPT to help you do a project, this was quite exciting. I mean, I could have done this by myself. It's not a big deal to build this by myself, but I wanted to sort of take an old technology and enhance it with, like I said, the time-based, the gate control, latch enable logic, and combine that with modern and vintage technology to come up with actually something that is going to be usable. And frankly, the way I'm building this, it's going to be a pretty accurate frequency counter. So you can see here, I'm counting, I've got a 7 hertz pulse, and we're counting up to 7. So what I have to do is draw this schematic after I finished it right now, but I have to build 6 of these decade counters, and I'm going to build them on these perf boards back here and just stack them. But I've got some work ahead of me, and it's going to take me a little bit of time to build 6 of these. But I think where I wanted to go with this particular video was really to bring awareness to using AI in your designs. And I tell you, it's ChatGPT. I was just, again, I cannot just indicate the awesomeness of that to do your coding for you. It's not that I didn't want to code this myself. I wanted ChatGPT to do it for me. And this last version of it, when I flashed the controller and hooked it up to the scope, absolutely beautiful. I've got 2 10-millisecond latch and reset pulses in here, but yeah, it's a great tool. So look for some more videos on this, especially how I interacted with the model, or the AI ChatGPT, to understand from it what it was getting from me, and what it was getting from me and what I was getting from it. And it really was an awesome collaboration. I never realized that I could use this to do a design for me from start to finish. So now it's up to me to build it. But anyway, hope everybody enjoys this, but give ChatGPT a try, and you'd be surprised.